So let's add a new page to our project. We could add it next to the index.html file. We could simply add a new HTML file. But to make sure that our application stays structured and doesn't get confusing, I'll create a subfolder for that page and I'll name it packages because we will show the different packages of our app. Now in there, I'll create a HTML file and you can name that file whatever you want, but I'll stick to index.html, which is kind of what you, use in web development if you have like a root file, a root HTML file within a folder. So that's my index.html file. And in there, I'll now simply copy the content of the main index.html file on the root folder, so the one we worked in all the time. I copy that because I want to use the same skeleton. I want to also import the same fonts there because we use them there in the index.html file in the packages folder. And of course, we also want to use the same header and footer. So I will just paste that code in here, but of course, get rid of all the content in the main area here. So this should be empty. We just have the header and the footer. We also need to adjust the links now in the header. Here, for example, for packages, we are in the packages folder. So this is just pointing to that index.html file here. For the other folders, though, we need to go up one level with .. and then into the customers folder, or for start hosting, .. start hosting. And we don't have these folders yet. We'll add them later. And for the main page here on our brand, we also need to go up one level with .. and then target this index.html file you find there. So this is the adjusted header. I don't think we need the Anton style in here, by the way. I don't think we'll use it here, so let's get rid of that import on this index.html file in the packages folder. And regarding the CSS file we're importing, well, we should probably split this up over multiple files too, because I don't want to import all the CSS code I use on the starting page into the packages page. And the same is true the other way around, because both pages use different styles and they don't care about the styles the other page uses. There are some shared styles, like the header or the footer, but that's about it. So what we should do is we should create a new CSS file next to the main.css file, which you can call whatever you want, but I will call it shared.css. And into this file, I'll copy my footer code as well as my header and navigation code. I'll cut it out of the main.css file and add it to the shared.css file. And I'll also add this button style there, which we defined. Here, all the button-related classes and selectors, because that also probably is shared across pages. So let's also add these declarations to the shared file. So the main.css file is leaner now. We added content to the shared CSS file. We now need to import that shared CSS file into our main root folder index.html file. Otherwise, our header will not look good. I can prove this to you if we save all files and reload. That's not looking good because we extracted the styles into a new file. So let's add a new link here, shared.css, and let's actually move it above the import of the main.css. Why? Because in the shared file, we set up some general styles, general button styles, for example. We always want to have the chance of overwriting them in our more specific page-focused style file, like the main.css file for the root index.html file. And to allow this overwriting to take place, we need to respect the order here, because this is imported and parsed first, this is parsed second. So if we want to overwrite something from the shared file, we need to import the overwriting file second, so that it's parsed later, because later styles overwrite earlier ones if they have the same selector. So this is the import layout or the import structure in the main index.html file. In the packages folder, we now also import the shared CSS file. And this is actually imported from the root folder. So let's go up there with .. And I will add a new file here, the packages.css file. Here we will really just add the styles for this package's index.html file. Let's add a new link import here, and there I will just point to packages.css. Again, this is added after the shared file so that we have at least the possibility of overwriting any styles we set up in the shared CSS file. With all that said, if we save that and we reload our starting page, it should look good again, and it does. And the packages link here should actually work now. Now, what we can see here is that the fonts are missing. And the reason for this is that I forgot to extract something in main.css at the very top. This universal selector, as well as the body, that should also go into the shared file, because that, of course, applies to our entire page, to all pages. So let's move that to the top of the shared.css file. And now if we reload this packages subpage, let me zoom in a bit, now it looks exactly as our starting page when it comes to the header and the footer. And with that, we can start working on that packages page, and we will add some code to it in the next lecture and then start working on the styling.